Americans don't know much about geography. It's funny because out of the 1,000+ people subscribing, they're like, yeah, yeah. You're like applauding right now because I finally admitted that Americans just aren't big on geography. You're going to do a face palm when you hear this next thing I'm about to say. And here it is. The only time I remember in my education ever learning geography was in 6th grade. And we had to take this quiz and we had to memorize the nations like based on how they look on the map, and we had to write in, you know, England, Scotland, Egypt, wherever it is. And that was it. It was like, it wasn't even a full year in 6th grade. The 92, 93 school year for me. That was it. And it was just never a priority for what we were taught in schools. And I'm saying that because one of the themes of this channel is me admitting multiple times in each video, because if I don't, people will say it for me in the comments, that I'm ignorant and ethnocentric and I don't know enough about the rest of the world, which is why I make so many videos asking questions about the rest of the world. But yeah, it's just not a priority in the American education system to teach us much about geography. And at the same time, it doesn't help that we've only got 2 really neighbors that we border. You know, Canada, which, let's face it, as Americans, we look at them as the 51st state. And then Mexico, which they're already crossing the border and becoming part of it. And I myself I'm of Mexican descent. So it's like, it's not really that foreign of a place. So it's like our neighbors they're with us. They're not really, it's not like, it doesn't feel like different countries. Yeah, they're okay, that's fine. But if you're living in the rest of the world by proximity, by default, you're closer to lots of more countries that speak a lot more languages than you're used to hearing. Because for the most part, in the United States, you speak English and you might speak Spanish too. And then beyond that, you know, it's like even for me, I took 4 or 5 years of French between college and high school. And it's like, I can still understand a lot of it. But have I even spoke to someone who spoke French yet? No, not as an American. It doesn't come up. It doesn't happen. You know, same thing with the Thai language. Like, I learned some Thai while I was in Thailand, but, you know, when I'm at restaurants, I'll speak what I do know to them, and I'm proud to do that. But in our American education system, geography is not a top priority. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying it's a thing. It happens. It exists. I'm acknowledging that. And honestly, through making the videos for this channel, I've learned that from so many people who point out how ignorant I am. I am coming to terms with the fact that, okay, I know so little about the world, but I think that this all started probably when, you know, one of my favorite shows, again, Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown, watching every episode on that Netflix and thinking, wow, this is a great way to learn beyond the stereotypes about what we know about countries in the rest of the world. So I definitely am wanting to learn more about this. So I just wanted to point that out. I know that in general Americans don't know that much about the rest of the world as far as geography goes. So I'm pointing that out. I guess I want to close this video by just saying, imagine though if you were one of us and you just didn't know that much about world geography. You know, imagine that you're married, have 2 kids, have 1 job, 4 side jobs, and your wife has a job, and you're doing your best to learn about the rest of the world. But for me, it's funny because so many people will say, now I made a video, tell me what I need to know about the Filipino people in the Philippines. Tell me what I need to know about Spain and people in Spain. And often the answer I get is, well, come visit us and find out. And I'm thinking, that sounds awesome. But if you live my life, you have a full-time job, 4 side jobs, which includes 2 YouTube channels, a blog, and SEO work for a university, plus your wife works, plus you have 2 kids, plus you have a mortgage. So with all those things, you can imagine it's difficult for me to just travel the world in the same way that Anthony Bourdain was able to. So I would love to come visit your country, but in the meantime, I have to settle for just learning about it from what you say in the comment section right here.